Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Going On Daily Live Morning Show Saturday edition. And according to the graphics right here, it's Season 2, Episode 257, Light of Day. And as Lena and I were just commenting, great movie, Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett. Do you have fond memories? Good morning, Lena Williams.
Good morning. Of course, I have fond memories of anything Gen X and from the 80s. I'm telling you, we had some good stuff back then. We really did. I don't know if it got any better since then. I'm going to say no, but that's probably bias.
A little bit. And also with us from freezing cold Montana, JP Mars. Good morning, JP.
Good morning. Yeah, it's a bit chilly.
You can see it like in your shoulders or up here, like you're trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
What did you say the high was going to be today in Montana?
Right now it's -5. Feels like -17. The high today I think is going to be like 9. But I live in a place where it's always windy too, so the wind chill is going to drop you 15 degrees. So even if the high temperature is 10, you're looking at -5, real feel outside, and then everything's kind of goes back and forth into the skin warning. You're not really supposed to be out for more than 5-10 minutes at a time unless you're completely bundled up, covered, all that stuff.
I just amazing. So anybody who is watching us and going, well, it's cold outside. No, listen to where JP is. That's cold.
Oh, it gets a lot worse too.
Oh, yeah, we are only in December right now, mid-December. We still got January and February coming, so we don't know what's going to happen, but not going to be
We get down to the -40s, feels like -50s, and then it gets real. But it's, everybody kind of bunkers down for the winter time. I mean, there's not a lot you can do. Your cars don't want to run very well. Everybody kind of stocks up. I mean, it's kind of nice because then you get a break for the holidays and all of the stuff I got going on in December and January and all that. So it's not horrible bad, but when spring starts coming, you definitely are antsy to get out of the house and quit being inside.
I could just imagine. So again, Lena, what's the temperature where you are right now? You're in Rhode Island.
Right. I think it's in the 20s.
I'm in New York.
Yeah. It's 32 actually. It was 20s overnight, but typical 30s, about 32 right now.
So anybody else, stop complaining. We have our winner. You're done. Okay. Thank you for joining us today, and we want you to check us out on our socials. Let's get out there. If you want to watch us live, well, chances are you are watching us live. But if you want to tell people how to watch us, tell them to go to YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and all of those are at Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you want to watch us on Twitch, it's Twitch at RI_Broadcasting. Now, you just want to listen to us, take us with you on the go. You can do the audio version on Spotify, Red Circle, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio at RI Broadcasting. Let's see. There's Twitter and X. I think I reversed that, but it's at Broadcasting RI. We also have our social media pages. We're on TikTok, MeWe, Blue Sky, Parler, and LinkedIn. And we are at RI Broadcasting. This show, the Going On Daily Live Morning Show, has its own page on Facebook, and that's at Going On Daily Morning Show. Please subscribe to our Patreon. Like I said, it's Christmas. The best way you can help the show and, promote a little bit is you go to Patreon at RI Broadcasting, and that's where you can buy our merch. As you can see, our little Going On Daily logo on the side is beautiful. It's lots of colors. You can put it on a pen, a magnet, all kinds of things. Put it as a stocking stuffer and pass the show on. We have a website, of course, for the entire network. We are on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network, so we are at RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net, where you can find all kinds of information, including all the shows that we have. I have a second show. Lena, you are going to be launching a second show for yourself. So go look that all up, and don't forget there is a monthly vote for a Hall of Fame. And this month, I believe we have actresses for the Hall of Fame. There it is. Oh, singers. I apologize. It's Madonna, Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, or Pat Benatar. It's a murderer's row. Whatever you like, vote. And at the end of the month, we'll pick a winner to go into the Hall of Fame for Rhode Island Broadcasting. And after saying all that, it is Saturday, December 13th. We're going to turn out the lights because it's light week and we're the last ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lena, here's what we want you to know. Go.
So I basically brought up. We were looking at theories of like what can we look at for lights, like Christmas lights. We really did everything.
It was different, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let me come in and do some side stuff that's completely weird and different because that's me, right? So we're discussing ghost lights today. The first thing I'll say with ghost lights is that there is a ghost light that you have in theaters that where you just kind of everybody goes home at the end of the day. There's always like one light on in a theater that's called a ghost light. Of course, that's not what I'm talking about today. Anybody who knows me and the stuff that I get into will know that I like ghost stories and unexplained things, and so my ghost lights are going to be more about things or little stories that people have heard across the country, stuff that's historical, myths, things that people tell stories about that they've seen in their hometowns. Mostly this is going to be America, but across rural America, strange glowing lights have appeared for generations and often seen late at night from cities along back roads, railways, mountains, right? Many sightings are tied to either tragedy, death, or unexplained disappearance. And there's my sister. Good morning. Call me beautiful. No, she's more beautiful than I am. Okay.
Good morning.
I'll be seeing her in 2 weeks, I think.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, so skeptics offer explanations about this. Some lights predate cars and highways and modern technology. And so what we could do is explore the most famous ghost lights of the United States and why they still defy explanation, right? What are ghost lights? They're distant car headlights distorted by terrain or heat, swamp gas creating brief light flares. They could be electrical or mineral activity in the ground. Some of the theories that people have fall short, right? Where sightings are occurred over decades, even centuries before cars existed. Cars obviously wouldn't be the explanation for that, but lights often move intelligently, or they change colors, or they vanish when approached. Some of these are the things that happen, or what people see, and that makes people think, "Oh, this is weird." This is UFOs or whatever.
Right.
And for believers, these lights might be restless spirits, or will-o'-the-wisps, or something even more mysterious, right? And so here are some of the famous ghost lights of the U.S. There's the Gurdon light. I think if you're into anything like this, you probably heard of the Gurdon light. That's probably one of the most popular ones. That's out in Arkansas. The Gurdon light was first reported in the early 1930s near abandoned railroad tracks, and they appear they're far from modern highways. And there's a legend that ties it to William McLean, who's a railroad worker beaten to death in 1931. Welcome. Hey, Saturday, get your coffee.
Exactly.
The sightings began shortly after his murder, and the light is said to have hovered and pulsed along the tracks. And so this is like one of those things where people either on their tours when they go on different. By the way, this is let me credit the people who put this all together, right? So this is usghostadventures.com, and this is like if you're in the area. People have heard about it. Maybe you drive to a certain place at night and you try to see them, that kind of thing. Legends, things that may or may not be stuff you see, right? Or defy logic. There's the Oviedo lights in Florida. They're seen on Snow Hill Road near the Econlocache River. And they appear as headlights that morph into like a blue orb facing toward the drivers. And it's linked to multiple tragedies, including a teen that was killed in 1963. Maybe they think it's an imprint, but scientists attempted to recreate the lights in 1969 and they failed. So who knows what people are seeing or not seeing, right? I know. There are the Marfa lights. Those are in Texas. And those are one of the most famous ghost lights in America as well. They're seen regularly from Highway 90. And the earliest sightings date back to 1883. Scientists claim that heat distortion, but that doesn't explain sightings before highways, right? Lights appear to split, hover, and move independently. And this is what people were seeing. So this is kind of, I don't know, cool stuff to look up if you're bored on a Saturday and it's too cold to go out. This is the kind of stuff we do. There's the Mako light. That's in North Carolina. That was first spotted in the late 1800s near Mako Station. The legend centers on Joe Baldwin, who was a train conductor who was decapitated in an accident. Witnesses described a lantern-like light floating 5 feet above the tracks. And the conductors reportedly stopped trains, fearing collisions, that kind of thing. So this is what he did. Sightings ended abruptly in 1977 when the tracks were removed. So that's interesting. I don't know. Was it a reflection off the tracks that they were seeing? You know what I mean? You never know. But these things
freed the ghost.
What's funny is the closer we get to the current day and the technology we have and the cameras and all that kind of stuff we have, a lot of the stuff goes away. This is what people did back before any kind of stuff like this. I don't know if this stuff is real or not, but you can decide. There's the Silver Cliff cemetery lights. That's in Colorado.
Okay.
They originated in a former mining town from the 1870s. Their orbs of light reportedly floated among gravestones in the cemetery. First documented in a 1956 newspaper, later featured in National Geographic, and the skeptics blame the reflective headstones. The locals aren't convinced that that's what it is. So,
of course not, right?
There's one that came up recently, and I watch a lot of Mojo, and Mojo has a fascinating list of 100 things mysteries that we always were like, what's going on with that were just solved recently, right? So this is one of those. The Paulding light in Michigan, which appears consistently in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It's unique for seasonal color changes, and it blinks rather than floats, and it fades when approached. And then the legends include railroad workers, will-o'-the-wisps, and even UFOs that are causing it. However, according to Mojo, they found that there's some distant main road or highway or something like that, and it's like at the top of a hill. There's actually a story where there's some guy standing there at night going, "Okay, we're here to see the lights," and they assume now that this is cars that they're seeing. There's some kind of weird thing going on from very, very distant cars, because you have to stand at a certain place to see them, and they're not consistent. But some of the locals are like, no, those aren't cars. Those are ghosts. So, whatever you want to say on that. So supposedly that was
so much easier, right?
I know. I mean, supposedly it's a mystery that was solved, but I guess people from the area aren't convinced of that. Brown Mountain Lights of North Carolina. Those are also pretty popular. They reported for hundreds of years in let me see if I could say it. Pisgah National Forest. They appear hovering above the mountain, especially in autumn. And Cherokee legends are saying that the lights are spirits of women searching for fallen warriors.
Wow.
Sightings surged during a massive flood in 1916. So that's interesting. There's the Ozark Spook Light. Ozarks have got to be part of everything, right?
Probably.
So, this is Oklahoma, Missouri. This is that part. One of the oldest known ghost lights, dating back nearly 200 years. They were first witnessed by Native Americans during the Trail of Tears, and I think we talked about the Trail of Tears, didn't we?
We did.
On this show. Appears as an orange lantern-like glow, and it moves low to the ground. Or it soars above treetops, and it's linked to multiple legends, Native American spirits or miners or lost lovers. So it depends, I guess, who you're talking to that those lights are for. The lights of Saratoga, Texas. Those are seen along Bragg Road, which is a railroad route. The light bobs and it changes color and it vanishes into the distance. There's a familiar legend of a decapitated railroad worker searching for his head.
Jeez. Come on, Crane, right?
With your coffee, folks. Sightings that continue long after the tracks are removed. So, I don't know. But anyway, why do ghost lights adore? Ghost lights exist as a crossroads of science, folklore, fear. Some may be explainable. Others are stubbornly resist logic and don't want to believe that it's just not fun anymore once you solve these things, right?
Exactly. And tourism. I mean, if you have something you can put on a T-shirt and tell people, come on down.
Like, here's a little thing
helps the economy.
That's, I don't know, whatever your town, if you lived there your whole life, it's cool to have little myths and stories about your town, right? So they do remind us that not every mystery has an answer. Whether spirits, natural phenomena, or something unknown, ghost lights will continue to glow and haunt the American imagination. So those were some stories I thought would be cool for Light Week.
Very good.
Yay!
Here it's Bigfoot. There's Bigfoot on everything.
I know. Didn't they figure that out, or didn't they say they thought that they knew what that was not long ago? I saw something.
What Bigfoot is?
Yeah, I saw something in a paper, a scientific explanation or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, I can't remember. It was something somebody saw that looked different than it really was, and they thought that they could attribute it to some sort of a condition. I'll have to look it up, but I saw that not long ago. If anybody has seen it in the comments, then let us know. But yeah, we know that the Loch Ness Monster is not longer. That. That's
the one I was going to bring up. You don't hear that anymore now that we have sonar that can go. Right. Track the entire Loch Ness.
There was a guy that actually admitted to creating a picture to create a star. There was a whole story behind that where a guy with a little submarine and a cardboard thing, like, he created a whole thing and took a picture of it and then sent it in, figuring, maybe the papers will pick this up. And it went on for 50 years or something crazy thing. But anyway,
now we can do it with AI, so it'll be so much better.
That's the thing now. Everything is is it what I think it is when I look at it? It's starting to get real bad right now. But anyway.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. On to you.
We're going to move on. JP, you've got a story about flooding in the winter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's happening, right now, to be honest with you, on the western side of Montana and eastern Washington. They had a freak storm and unusually high temperatures that has created massive floods. So I know that in an area of eastern Washington right now, there's 100,000 people that were all evacuated from their homes because it's all underwater. But in northwestern Montana right now, historic rainfall and unusual atmospheric moisture have caused severe flooding across northwestern Montana, including Lincoln County. Rivers like the Yak, the Fisher have risen dramatically due to rain plus rapid snow melt, leading to widespread flooding conditions. The flooding event has washed out roadways, damaged bridges, making travel extremely difficult, in some places even impossible. They're in a local state emergency, disaster relief, all that stuff. At least 9 bridges in Lincoln County are unstable or compromised, leading significant detours up to 40 miles. Multiple bridges, including have been washed out. A couple, Market Road and Granite Creek Road. Roads across the county are closed or unsafe due to flooding and associated rock mudslide. Officials are urging travel only for essential purposes. They have a boil water order, which means the water is not drinkable. So for all your drinking water needs, if you haven't been evacuated, you need to boil the water. And schools are obviously closed. They got a shelter going, evacuations, all of that sort of stuff. But they don't know when it's going to stop. And so I think I'd seen on the news story yesterday that they were getting 8,000 cubic inches of water per inch or speed per inch or units per inch or however they do that. But it's wintertime. I mean, it's, where are you going to go? And some of those places are pretty isolated because you're in the middle of the mountains. I mean, there might be one road that goes in, one road that goes out. And if it gets washed out, then everybody's sort of stuck. But it is a small town, small area. Since the community's still pretty strong, so people are probably going to take care of one another. But it's kind of a freak phenomenon to have a massive flood like that in the middle of December.
Sounds biblical, doesn't it? A little bit. I mean,
Well, the storm that it went through, I mean, they were 39 degrees last night, so it's not even freezing at night where they are. And they already had a couple feet of snow like I do sitting on the ground. Plus they had a, what did they call it? An atmosphere river storm that dropped 12 inches of rain overnight.
Wow.
Or in 2 days. And I think 6 inches was overnight or something like that. But I mean, it's a lot of water. And you're, in the mountains, typically you're sitting on rock. You're not really sitting on dirt. The ground's not going to soak the water up. The water has to run somewhere.
Of course.
wow.
Has this ever happened before? Did they report, this is the first time since?
It sounds like from all, they're in floodplains. And so they deal with some of these things, obviously. If the snowpack gets really big and the springtime comes and you get a lot of rain and it warms up really fast and the snow all melts at once, you run into these sorts of issues. But I don't think on the scale of, washing out 9 bridges, the one bridge that they got to that is usable to get in and out was unusable because the water had covered it. And now the water has gone down enough to where it's not coming over the sides of the bridge. And so they're able to sort of get across it now. But emergency services are going to be overwhelmed. I mean, there's only so many firefighters, so many paramedics, so many police officers, so many, in an area that are trained, equipped, can do these things. And so it sort of becomes a community effort to kind of take care of each other, which is the holiday spirit. But you kind of wish it was for better reasons, obviously.
Well, what exactly can they? I mean, they call in people from other counties, other states, bring in emergency equipment. What exactly can they do for this?
It's sort of like a tornado, not much different than a tornado warning or that kind of deal, and or the hurricane type stuff in Florida. Everybody's got to kind of go check on the neighbors that maybe somebody else may not think of or forget about, and try to get to the high ground, the places that are up on hillsides or the schools or I know that they got a big station at a church, it said, because it's on a high ground, it's up on a hill and it's not going to be affected by the water. And so then you got tons of people sleeping, on the carpet floor and on cots and living in a church until they can sort of go back home. But if your house just got hit with 4 feet of water and then you're going into middle of winter, it's not going to dry out. And so a lot of these places are going to have to probably be completely redone, torn down, because you're going to have mold issues. You're going to have a lot of water damage issues. I mean, if this warm spell blows through and they hit the same weather I have next week and it doesn't get above single digit temperatures, nothing's getting dry and you're not going home. I mean, these people are probably sort of like the tornado kind of relief people. They're kind of stuck in limbo, at least till spring, I would imagine, because of the time of year it is right now. I mean, if it was springtime, it'd probably be a little bit different.
If the temperatures do drop there, and like you said, everything does ice over, I can't even imagine, like you said, if being stuck there until spring and having supplies being brought into you, and I can't even imagine. Oh, I wonder, is that even a picture of the area, or did Ron just pull up, a particular flooding?
It could be. I know that they've been posting. There's the Montana ones are, smaller local news places. But the ones in Washington have kind of gone national because, the evacuation of 100,000 people is a big deal. I mean,
Of course.
what's going to hold 100,000 people? There's not a lot in Eastern Washington, just like Eastern Montana, Eastern Oregon. I mean, some of these places are pretty rural.
It's got to be a gymnasium like for a college that can house, a bunch of people.
Right.
Is there any kind of, obviously there's a relief effort going on, but is there anything where people can donate or their time, their money?
It's all sort of in the last 2 days, and so I'm not sure if they're quite at that point yet. I think they're still trying to get everybody rounded up and get everybody to safety and figure everything out as of now, because they're not really sure how much longer it's going to be going on.
Like you said, yeah, the temperatures are just going to be getting worse, which is, does not bode well for them. It's funny. There's so many places. America is so big that, most of us we live, I'm going to go out. I can't even imagine that happening in my area because it's basically an urban area. We don't have that, but there are lots of places that do have to worry about this. And I guess we're gonna keep an eye on this and hopefully hear about it in the future.
Yeah.
That really, so far we're talking about ghosts and death and people being, pretty much trapped in their homes. Lana, I guess you're going to tell us how sunlight can affect us, hopefully for the better.
Oh, well. Sorry.
Great.
No.
We're all good. We're all doomed.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about two things. One of them was photophobia and aversion to light, which some people have, light sensitivity, which is worse when you have an eye condition, of course, but this might be because there's an inflammation affecting part of your eye. There are some conditions that cause your eye to adapt more slowly to changing light levels, and this can make you more light sensitive in these situations. The reason that I brought that up, or that I was looking at that, is that I have a lot of friends that are sort of neurodivergent, and they don't like bright lights. They don't like the lights overhead in the house. They don't really. There's sometimes that they think sunlight is just too intense, and they kind of like low lights. And for whatever reason, it feels like an attack for them to have really high lights on, which I get. And there's places that you work at that have fluorescent lights going on, and those things are pretty harsh, right? But on the other side of that, there's SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. I know a lot of people that get this because of shortened daylight. This time of year, people don't really get the light that they should get.
Right.
And I don't know if everybody, we get a lot of people that are depressed around the holidays anyway. And this may be like a factor of something that's like exacerbating the issue. And a lot of people may not know that this is what's happening. So it's something to look into. Obviously people should take their vitamin D. You should take it anyway, but this time of year you really need more of it just because you're just going to see less sunlight, a lot of people, and you're not going to go outside as often, even if there is sun out, because of the temperatures. So some of the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, if you're curious about that, would be, there's a joke there somewhere, but we're gonna, I guess I don't even remember what I just said a bunch of stuff, so I'm not sure which thing Rod's talking about. So with SAD, you could have a persistent low mood. You could have a loss of pleasure, or of interest in normal everyday activities. So most stuff just is bland to you. You can feel irritable. You can have feelings of despair, guilt, and worthlessness. This stuff really does a number on you for some people. Low self-esteem. Tearfulness. I guess that's a scientific word for crying. Or being sad, stressed, or anxious feelings, a reduced sex drive, and more antisocial behavior. Some of the other symptoms that can pop up but aren't always persistent are that you may be less active than normal, feeling lethargic, lacking in energy, sleepy during the day, sleeping for longer than normal, or finding it hard to get up at all in the morning, finding it difficult to concentrate, very distracted, have an increased appetite, right? Some people have a particular craving for foods containing lots of carbohydrates and end up gaining weight as a result of this. So all of this happens for lack of sunlight, which most people probably wouldn't think about. So I wanted to bring that up because this time of year, that's definitely a thing for a lot of people. But some people know that they have it. It says it may, your everyday activities would be more difficult to do. It'll feel like more of a chore to just live and get things done, like laundry and dishes and things like that.
Yeah.
When to see a general practitioner is if you think you might have it and you're finding it difficult to cope at all. There are a number of helpful treatments they may be able to recommend, right? So there's one of them, which is light therapy. And a light therapy box that mimics outdoor light. You can buy this, and there's actually a specific level of light that it provides
I've
for you.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little headband with the light going right into your
Yep.
eyes. Pretty
Or,
much.
I think that there are actually lamps that you can have in your house, things like that, will provide a specific amount of light past sundown that you might need just to even out the amount of light that your body is supposed to take in. So this type of light may cause a chemical change in the brain that lifts your mood and eases other symptoms of SAD, such as being tired most of the time, sleeping too much. Generally, the light box should provide an exposure to 10,000 lux, right? So that's an exposure of light or measurement of light.
Right.
You could get bright light therapy, also known as phototherapy, which is a treatment used to help regulate the body's circadian rhythm. And I don't know, I know it sounds really woo-woo, but circadian rhythm is a thing. Your body, if you don't sleep if you don't have a specific schedule of sleeping, and if you don't sleep a specific amount of hours, and you don't get a specific amount of daylight, your body could be all off from that. And if you've ever worked third shift, you'll know what I'm saying about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have, and it'll turn your life upside down. It'll just,
Absolutely.
your whole body will go wonky if you don't do stuff right. So particularly for sleep disorders that cause a person's sleep schedule to fall outside typical social norms, right? Which is whatever it is, 8 at night to 5 in the morning or whatever it is. It's most commonly used to treat delayed sleep phase syndrome, which is a condition in which individuals fall asleep very late and struggle to wake in the morning. While their sleep quality is normal when left to their own schedule, daily responsibilities like work or school become really difficult for them to accomplish. So bright light therapy helps to gradually shift the biological clock to earlier to align with conventional schedules, so they can do that. The treatment works through carefully timed exposure to bright light, usually delivered to the eyes shortly after waking, which you were saying, Ira. And then in some cases, lights that turn on just before awakening are used to stimulate sunrise. And if you live in a place where the sun doesn't even come up, until 8 o'clock or whatever it is, that's really what you want. You want something that gives you a light before that. And then morning light exposure is also used for non-24-hour sleep-wake disorder, while evening light exposure may help with advanced sleep phase syndrome, though research is more limited for that condition, right? So light sources can include full spectrum lamps at about 10,000 lux in the house, wearable light visors at a low intensity, or a natural outdoor light when available. So of course, they want you to still use the real thing, the nature part of it, if you can, depending on where you are, right? Typical exposure lasts 30 to 90 minutes, depending on your individual needs and your timing. And a sleep specialist usually guides treatment, helping patients gradually adjust their sleep schedule and maintain a consistent wake time, even on weekends. Long-term use varies. Some people continue daily therapy, and others can do it once their sleep schedule stabilizes. They can reduce everything and go back to normal. Anybody with a family history of macular degeneration should, of course, consult an eye doctor before starting treatment. But those are kind of some cool things or some interesting things that you can do. I was going to bring up Alaska.
Alaska and Norway,
and say, I can't even imagine having 30 days of light or 30 days of no
Darkness.
light, like they go through. So it's kind of like, they must have to do stuff like this. I don't know how they deal with it being sunlight for 30 days. That's the part that I don't know if I could deal with. It'd be weird. You'd have to you would just have to get all these types of curtains, and you'd have to get blind. You'd have to get, what do you call it? Those little things that go over your eyes to sleep. You'd have to go through all of that just because your body would just be, I don't know. I mean, I know they're used to it, and then having it just be dark. like dark when you get up,
Yeah.
dark when you go to bed.
Can't
dark
handle
all
that
day
either.
long,
Yeah.
just driving around in the dark. Like I can't. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people. I wonder if it's even mandatory that you just have that kind of stuff in your. I wonder if they just have it like installed in all the buildings and these kind of lights that just keep people on a schedule. Because I mean, everybody's got to be going through depression up in Alaska during those days. Yeah,
I don't
blindfolds.
know
But
how you get along with that.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you were listing all the things
Mhm.
that said all the symptoms.
Yeah.
I have most of those. I already know I have it.
Yeah.
When I drive at night and I get out of work at 5 o'clock, it's already dark out.
Yep.
The one thing that has been helping me is listening to upbeat music.
Oh, that's good. That'll.
Just driving. Got to keep that energy up. Got to do it because
Yeah.
you look around. How many of us have come home and you go, "Oh my God, that was such a long day." Oh, it's only 6 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I have hours to go.
I mean,
So
you can. It is if you kind of know anything about brain hacking, and a lot of people think it's a stupid thing, but if you know how
it isn't.
to create chemicals for your brain that will get you through things to balance out times where other stuff, Cindy Lauper would be a good one.
You
But it
tell
would
them, Ron.
be whatever creates like that, the dopamine and the serotonin and things that you lose, especially this time
Yes.
of year, or that you burn through a lot quicker
Right.
and deplete yourself of, are really good things to kind of. So it sounds stupid, but you know that little post I put up. We were talking about dogs last week. You know that post I put up on my page about. I watch my dog repeatedly just to watch him just like think life is great in the moment. He's just.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't. I don't know. Like it's hard for humans to do that. So if you have a dog around, it's like fun to just look at them and be like, they think
Okay.
like they don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. They don't remember what happened yesterday. They're just in the moment, having a grand old time. And sometimes you have to try to program yourself to do that, to enjoy your
Yeah.
moment now, today, and stop worrying about every other time. Because you know we our brains race about what happened, what should have happened, what's gonna happen. You know, so.
I agree.
Anyway, and if you're an insomniac, and I would be, but I hack my brain to stop racing because if I didn't, I would never sleep. So, you know what I mean? You
Oh,
have to
what do you do?
understand. So it's very specific for me. I don't think that it
Right.
will work for everybody. But I have shows and I have things that are comfort for me. So I'll have a timer on my TV. And then, yeah, if I lay there in the dark and try to sleep, I will never fall asleep. Because my brain will start making lists of things and stuff that I
I
have to
agree.
plan and beat me up over stuff I did wrong yesterday and I could have did better and whatever. And that's nuts. It doesn't help you to do that, but my brain won't stop. Right. So so what I do is
And then even if you do sleep, you're not getting REM sleep, so
right.
it
I mean,
doesn't help you.
so, but what I do is I actually have like a set of shows, or like right now you have digital TVs, you have all kinds of stuff, and I'll watch things that I've seen a million times and I know every word.
Right.
And the reason I do that is that so my brain will hone in on that dialogue, and the minute it does that, everything else goes quiet.
It'll keep you calm. Yeah.
So what I
Well-
do that, if I do that, I'm out within 15 minutes. I set a timer for my TV for about an hour, and once I'm asleep, the TV can't be on because it disturbs my sleep. It's the weirdest thing. So, but it can't be a show that I want to see or something I've never seen, because my brain will keep me awake trying to figure out how it ends or
course.
how it turns out. So it has to be something I know the end, all the way to the end, like by heart. So all I'm focusing on in the moment is whatever the dialogue is, and 15 minutes, I'm out. It works every time, and then TV shuts off on the timer. Exactly. It's not I don't know if it's a boring thing for me. It might be boring for some other people, but I actually love old things. The comfort movies and things that I've seen a million times are not boring to me. Or
Well,
at
it's
least
a
not to my
habit thing
brain.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, training your brain's just setting habits.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I have a nighttime routine and it puts, I'm asleep in 10 minutes.
Right. Yep.
Like
And
as soon as
once
I
am asleep,
heat
I'm
up the hot water for tea, then I start getting super tired because I know it's bedtime because I've
Yep.
trained myself to know that it's bedtime. And then put a sleep cast on and lay there for about 10 minutes and I'm out.
And what did you say? You do what? Put what on?
A sleep cast.
What's that?
It's like a guided meditation, but
Oh,
it's
Oh, nice.
but it's a soothing voice
Yep.
that half gives you like super detailed of different things. And so like the slow train. And so you're on the train and this is what the inside of the car looks like and the woodwork. And you look out the window and there's a field of sunflowers or a town in the mountains and you're winding down the tracks and you can hear the sounds. And then it's got little things in the background, or it's, you know, sleepy cabin, or, you know, campfire in the woods, or, and it's different people. It's on the Headspace app.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So for Ron, Morgan Freeman and the March of the Penguins, I'm guessing, would work for him. He's going to go to sleep that way.
Exactly. But yeah, you got to figure out what works for you. I mean, I have, you know, there's all kinds of people that can tell you different ways to do things, but it has to be something unique to your, you know, your brain, your wherever you are, how you sleep. So, you know, I can give you all kinds of ideas on how to do it, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. And so people have to understand that. There are people that take melatonin. However, they say if you take too much melatonin, it can actually undermine your system. Meaning it's good for you, like briefly, it's good to kind of boost up your melatonin. But if you take it every night, it can actually create a situation where your body does not know how to make it. Much like anything else. So
if you, like you said, if you overload your body on anything, then it gets used to it, and then the change has to be getting off of that, and then you're right back where you started.
Exactly. So that's, you know, if you need it every so often, you know, on days where you're extremely low, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that, that's fine. But if you're on it every night, you're gonna mess your chemistry up. Yeah. So.
Okay, we're gonna move on, and I want to tell you, as parent, JP, you have a daughter. I have one as well. And we're all children of somebody. Your parents are lying to you. They always have. They always will. The biggest lie, I think, has been told is, well, this time of year, Santa's coming. So I have to. By the way, if there's anybody out there with small kids around, we're going to talk about Santa for a minute. You want to get rid of them? Go ahead. Give me a second. But okay, JP, we'll start with you. How did you find out that there wasn't a Santa?
Oh, I had an older brother, so I think probably when he found out, I found out.
He couldn't wait to ruin it for you, right?
Probably. I mean, that'd be my best guess. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I even remember. I mean, but old memories. I just don't remember a lot from being a little kid or anything.
Okay, fair enough. Lena, how did you find out?
So I found out because I'm an extremely curious child, and you really need to.
You're an extremely curious adult, so why not?
You can't have me in your house as a kid and expect me not to look for stuff. And I actually found a lot of stuff my mother was trying to hide by accident. You know, just like, what is that?
Right.
And so she had a walk-in closet. I mean, we both did when I was growing up, or we all three of us did. Because my sister was born like 10 years almost after I was. But she would my mother was a crazy person, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it kind of in a way that she would be up all night. She would be one of those people that, like, if she got all into something, she would be up all hours of the night trying to like get stuff done. So she was one of those people that, like, for her, Christmas presents were done in like October. She was one of those people. Unless like there was stuff last minute or stuff she couldn't get or or whatever. So she wrapped everything and then stowed it in the closet up on shelves. And so, eventually, like, she had to learn to cover that stuff, because if it was just up there wrapped, it was going to be easy for me to see. And I wasn't supposed to go in there, but if I did, it was going to be easy. And at one point I asked her about it, because I'm not the type of kid that I'm just like, I can't explain it. I just will go, what is that? What, like, I'm one of those, like, I don't hide what I'm seeing. And she was just like, oh, you weren't supposed to see that, blah, 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 blah. And so from that moment on, I knew there wasn't a Santa. However, it was better than getting into a fight with her, that I just went along with it.
Right.
And then once my sister was born, I had to, because, she was, I'm going to start, anybody who follows my page, I'm going to start putting up, like, pictures of the Christmas, because I still have, my mother would take a picture every Christmas. Once the tree was done, once the gifts were out. right before we opened the gifts up, she always took a picture for every year of what it looked like before we tore into it. So I'm gonna put up some of these pictures of the nonsense that my mother, the craziness that my mother put under that tree. You couldn't see the tree sometimes. It was just, which is cool. But it was, how it was so hard with everything going on for her to hide a lot of that stuff, So things like bikes or stereo systems, or things like that, she would actually have somebody, that she knew take them and put them in their house or something, because there would be no way. We had an apartment. We didn't live in a house. We had an apartment, so it was real hard to keep stuff away from us as a kid. We didn't have a lot of space, but. So stuff like that we wouldn't see because it wouldn't be there until whatever the night before, when we fell asleep, she'd go get it or she'd have somebody bring it. But the smaller stuff that she would wrap,
right?
It was hard for her to keep it from us. Yeah.
I'm very curious if you've been watching the comments from Ron. He hid in a closet, waited for Santa, and then realized there's no Santa and yelled at his parents, "You lied to me." You didn't fall asleep if you stayed in a closet all night? That would have been I missed it, but okay.
Yeah, I mean,
my parents were very subtle. They were like, "You're Jewish. He doesn't believe in Jewish kids." Like, okay, that's weird, but thank you. But that is the number one lie, and they're not doing it obviously to I'm gonna fool my kids, ha ha ha.
Right.
They do it for different reasons. So now I have a list of the top 10 things here that parents have told their children that just were complete lies. And the number one, and I'm making it number one because my parents told me this constantly, and it's a lie, that if you crack your knuckles, it'll give you arthritis when you get old.
Right.
Yep.
I'm doing it right now. I crack my knuckles constantly. Knock wood, I don't have arthritis. Why did they tell us this? Because they didn't like it?
Because they were told it, probably.
They were told. So we're just passing. But if they knew it was a lie, because they didn't get arthritis, why would you pass it on?
Because they got sick of listening to us and they knew it worked. They just didn't want to hear it. I mean, I think
it didn't work. I kept doing it.
Well, conditioning is a weird thing. I mean, if you get told something enough, you'll probably believe it, even if there's irrefutable proof that it's a lie. I mean, you can see it in everyday life. I mean, you can convince yourself anything, and then say it like it's 100% factual truth, even knowing deep down, and you've already been proven that you're wrong. I mean, people. People will really dig their heels in too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, those are those people. No matter what proof you show them, I know what I know. That's it.
Well, they say logic doesn't stop stuff like that. That's not how they learned it, so that's not how they're going to unlearn it. So, yeah.
So let's see. The simplest one, I think, which we all knew didn't work, was if you make that face, your face could freeze like that.
Yep.
Right.
Like you cross your eyes or you make a silly face. Did anybody even believe that one?
Only after I watched that movie.
Which movie?
The Ring?
Better Off Dead, I think. That old John Cusack movie where they're at the beach and the two girls are making that face and somebody comes running up and slaps them on the back and their face gets stuck like that.
Oh my God, that movie is so great.
We bring up that movie a lot on this show.
That movie did not age well. It's so terrible. Like, it's so offensive, but I love it so much. A lot of our movies from years ago were they didn't age well, but
very
they're
offensive.
So funny.
I'd seen a meme this morning that was saying, it was a Gen X deal or something. It was like, if they remade The Breakfast Club today, it'd be the most boring movie in the world because it'd be 5 kids sitting there staring at their phones. It'd be a silent movie.
Exactly.
I want my $2.
And you know who was in Better Off Dead? And he tainted the movie forever? Dan Schneider. I can't stand that man.
Dan Schneider, I don't remember.
Dan Schneider is the Nickelodeon dude. Oh, I can't stand him.
Oh, I know who he is.
Yeah, he's in that movie, and he's in a couple of other things. My sister and I were talking about this the other day. It's like, now every time you see him, you're like, oh, God,
Yeah.
They could just take him out.
Pedophile, pretty much.
But, but I mean, but that movie, but other than that, that movie was hilarious. That movie was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Okay, the next one is refusing to eat your food because there are starving kids around the world. How is that going to help them if I don't eat my food?
It isn't, but it's the comparison. It's the, there's people that don't have what you have, and you should enjoy it, whatever. I think a lot of us ended up with eating disorders over that.
Right.
Thank you, parents.
You have to clean your plate. But I'm not hungry.
Right.
What do I have to do that?
Gorge yourself, overeat, overindulge, and you're getting conditioned to do it from a very young age. So
Take
then
a shower and go straight to bed and don't work any of it off. Just go to sleep.
Right. But then it snowballs into everything else to overindulge. I mean, look at all the look at how bad Gen X people were about drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, overindulging and binge drinking and keep going, you never have a limit, and overindulging and I mean, it's just, but some of these things are not healthy mentally for.
Exactly. You pair that up with you're not supposed to have feelings, and we went, that's why we went so crazy with it.
Yeah, numb yourself, drink it all
right.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is one of my favorites because I actually did wonder about it for years. Don't swallow your gum because your body takes 7 years to digest it.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
You've never heard that one?
Nope.
It was, oh my God. I wonder why. I mean, it is just food. I
don't know.
What was the reason for even saying that?
I don't know.
Is it better to swallow the gum than people spit it out or put it under chairs and tables?
I don't know. I always threw mine in the trash. I never understood sticking it under like stuff like that. I just never, wherever you are, there's always a trash can. I never understood that, but whatever. I guess people just didn't want to get up and move.
Somehow Ron thinks that one's still true. Okay, Ron, then how do you believe in this one? Don't swallow watermelon seeds because the watermelon will grow in your stomach.
Yeah, heard that one.
Well, we got that with cherries, the cherry pits.
Cherry pits? Why do they think that we're going to be growing fruit in our stomach?
I don't know. Maybe when we're really little, like there's certain things that we should not swallow because they cause choking habits, and they just get used to telling us that even when we start to become teenagers.
Well, fear is a better deterrent than I don't like it or don't do it. You know what I mean? So if you can scare somebody to not swallow the pits of cherries because they might choke, or not swallow watermelon seeds. I mean, obviously they got seedless watermelons and all that stuff now, but this, that, those, and the others. Then you mean I'll have a plant grow inside me? Like that kind of deal, like.
I think some kids would be
by the way,
cool. Like, let me
wouldn't you think that?
Yeah.
And Jake made a point. We watched a lot of cartoons where
that's true.
Ridiculous things happen. We figured, maybe that'll happen and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, of course, probably number one for most people. You have to wait an hour after eating before you can go swimming.
Right.
Or you'll cramp up. Never happened to anybody.
The diver bends thing. I don't know. They transferred it just to like pools and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I've heard
but
that. But
as JP brought up earlier, you may believe that because I remember going to my mother when I became an adult, and that was disproven. I said, Mom, that never happened. She dug in her heels. No, that's true. Because this was my mother. Because they said it. Right. And I would always say, "Who is they?"
Well, and if you're running,
if
you run off half explanations, or half of the information, that's the other sort of dangerous part. Like I'm sure in some instances,
right,
military sailors, deep sea divers in the 1920s and 30s, 40s during World War II couldn't get in their suit and deal with the pressure, don't have a full stomach or it'll mess you up, or, you'll end up, you can't control your body, whatever. And then it snowballed into, the average person. And it's like, nobody should eat before they go swimming, or, there was probably something to do with gum when gum was very first, maybe when gum was created, it was super toxic to swallow, sort of like a toothpaste kind of deal, had a bunch of fluoride or had a bunch of something in it that would be super harmful if you swallowed the actual gum, and then it kind of snowballed into your body won't digest it. So maybe at the very beginning when gum was first created and it was whatever it was made out of, maybe it really did take 7 years to digest, or maybe it was really harmful, but then it becomes an urban legend, like the lights or like anything else where, you just generations of people saying it, and then everybody just assumes it's true. Like sort of like a Mandela effect. I mean, there's all kinds of things that I think happened or were true that may or, your mind puts things in certain places, even knowing maybe it didn't even actually show up on the movie, or the books didn't actually do that, or that never was actually a thing. You just thought it was and convinced yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense. Like one story out of some small town somewhere, and then everybody, like that whole thing with the spider eggs and the gum and the whole thing.
Oh God, bubble yum,
pop rocks and the soda and all that kind of stuff that we heard is just stuff that
Kentucky Fried Rat meat.
Yeah,
I never heard that one.
Well, I heard that Jimmy, and I remember at 12 years old, there was a kid that was in the valley that he did this and he died. And then everybody in Central Oregon heard about it. And then somebody went to visit cousins in Wyoming. And then somebody in, this town, one kid in Wyoming heard about it. And then the whole town knows about it. And then 5 of them guys travel to go wherever. And then all of a sudden, Timmy fell down the well, but there was no Timmy that ever existed in the,
Exactly.
Aww.
And I guess when we're kids,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, when we're kids, how the heck would we know? We would believe stuff like that because we didn't have any sources to check any of that stuff.
Right. You couldn't Google it.
Adults are telling us that. So
here's one that happened in 1950s, I believe, was the first televisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we're not talking that long ago.
Yeah. I know what you're gonna say.
If you sit too close to the television, you'll go blind.
Right.
Yeah.
We now know it can't happen. If they screw up your vision, it might. But when you go blind,
I know. They were so exaggeration. They had such exaggeration about stuff. Like, it really could probably affect your eyesight if you did nothing else but that for like 24 hours a day. If you just sat
Hold on.
Nobody tested that theory more than the MTV kids that we were. Nobody.
Oh, absolutely.
Between cartoons on Saturday mornings and then MTV when that came out. We were planted for that TV for like hours and hours and hours. A lot of us didn't want to go to school. We were gonna miss Headbangers Ball, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, or Yo MTV Raps or whatever we were waiting for. So who knows?
Jake is right. There was one about cell phones are going to cause tumors.
Right.
That's not happening either. We would know that it's been around long enough now that we would have scientific data to back that up.
Right.
And obviously that's not happening either. And going back to if you watch too much, this generation, you're now born, I'll keep my kid quiet, give them a tablet, you're constantly glued to your phone. If it was going to screw up your eyesight, we would really know by now.
Oh, yeah, we definitely would.
Okay, how about this one? I was never told this, but apparently everybody else knows about it. Do not turn on the dome light in your car
while you're driving.
That will alert. What is it?
While you're driving?
While you're driving, because it will alert the cops that something's wrong. So you can't just turn it on to go, I need to find something.
Yeah.
Or your kid's reading.
We always got yelled at for turning it on, but I don't remember it ever having an explanation. I just think it made it really distracting for whoever was driving.
Yeah. Instead of saying, hey, don't do that because I'm driving and I can't see the road, that would have been a better way to go. But that's not what they said. They said, you're going to get arrested. The cops are going to come get you if you do that.
I never understood that one. And here's my favorite one, and the last one, is when you were younger, your parents told you that adults knew what they were doing.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
So you should listen to that person. They're an adult. They know what they're doing.
Right.
And now that we are
Look
adults,
how that turned out.
Oh, absolutely, we're wrong.
Can I add something here? And I'm adding something for only the Rhode Island people. And Ron, you and I will talk about this because I don't know if you were raised this way, but every person in Rhode Island, we had a school in the early 1900s, and it was called Sakanase. And it was over here in Cranston, and there were like a bunch of kids that went there years ago. I think it closed in 1914 or something like that, right? But it was a place that wayward boys went. It was kind of a military. I don't know if it was a military or like a school of, what do they call it? Discipline or
juvenile,
whatever it was.
Juvenile delinquents.
And they forever that school was abandoned at some point in 12 or 14, and I can't remember why it stopped running, because it wasn't because we didn't care about abuse that back then, right? So it could have been something. It had been something else. That school sat and rotted until 2004 or something like that. Trees were going through it. Like, it was just. There were a bunch of buildings that were just like abandoned, and like a church there and everything else. Every time we drove by that school, our parents in Rhode Island would threaten us that we would be sent there. And it was called the Bad Girl and Boys School.
Yeah.
And there were
Great
stories
name.
about like how we were going to be treated when we got there. We were going to have to like clean the floor with a toothbrush, and we were only going to eat gruel for food. And like, it literally, like, it's just funny because I don't know if everybody else has a local place like this their parents threatened them with, but in this state, every single kid, at least my age, probably maybe 10 years younger than me even, had that story told to them by somebody that they were driving by with, some parent or two parents, that said, if you keep it up, we're going to send you there.
Oh, God.
And then, you know, all these things that would happen to you when you were there. And Ron, like I said, I don't know if Ron, if you ever had this happen when you were a kid, but it is a huge story, and most kids that grew up here all got that same threat. And it's just funny. So I just had to bring it up. They did eventually renovate it, and it became a big shopping center. And all this other stuff, at a restaurant and all this, like they redid the whole thing. But there was a point in time that if you ever get a chance, look up the Sakanase school, the old pictures before, because people would go in there and take pictures and stuff like that to see what it looked like. Literally, the floors were gone, all kinds of stuff like that. And it was condemned, and people weren't supposed to go in there. But we have these urbex people in here around here that go in and take pictures, and I'm glad they did. But yeah, it's just we all remember going down this road with some parent or caregiver and hearing that we were going to get thrown in there if we kept it up. And
that's why parents threaten you to make sure that you do whatever you need to do.
The universal lie of Rhode Island. I just had to make sure I brought that up because it's definitely, for anybody around here, a funny story. But anyway.
Well, if anybody else has them, go to our social medias that we mentioned earlier. Go to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. You'll have all the socials, and you can add what did your parents tell you that turned out absolutely a lie. They were doing it just to manipulate you into doing something.
Right.
But here we go, folks. We've come to the end of another show. JP, do you have any other projects that you'd like to plug?
Not at the moment, no.
Just stay warm, then, my man.
Yeah.
Come on. He's trying to do that.
It's all he can do just to not freeze to death.
I got to move. Well, I got to move at the end of the month too.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. You bought. Oh, well, you bought a property. I don't know, it's your personal business. But.
I'm buying a house. Yeah, I close it right after New Year's.
Wow.
Oh,
thankfully, it's only about 3 blocks, and I work in construction, so I have access to a lot of trailers and extra hands. So
yeah,
I was going to say, how are you going to get everything over there? But good. I'm glad that you have a way to do that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Lena, you have a new project coming out soon?
I do. My buddy Willie Patterson and I are putting together a podcast. Right now, we're just dealing with technical difficulties and trying to. We want to, once we go and do this, we want to make sure it's done right, and so we're running through testing process at this point, and coming up with things that are audio and video issues that are happening and stuff like that. So, but we will be, of course, I will let you know the minute we get it, and it will be on Rhode Island Broadcasting one way or the other. You will see it here too. So.
There we go. Let's see. And I have a project called the Circling the Drain podcast. It's just think of it as a morning comedy show to get you going. And that can be found at, just Google Circling the Drain podcast. And it is also on Rhode Island Broadcasting. So you can find it RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. Tomorrow, you're going to be here. Ron and Kenny, the Dream Team. It is the start of Aviation Week here. So, get ready for takeoff. That was a bad pun. Tough. That's what we do here.
Good.
Well, thank you. Remember, if you need some fun, then join us because we have it going on daily. Bye, folks.